Yankees fans have been on edge lately, and honestly, it's no surprise given what we've been seeing from Marcus Strowman. This guy came into the season with so much swagger, declaring he was going to be the fifth starter for the Bronx Bombers and that there was no way he was heading to the bullpen. That kind of confidence, that loud personality, it's what people want from a player stepping up in New York. But here's the problem so far. Marcus Strowman hasn't lived up to any of it. His recent start down in Double-A was just downright rough. He didn't even make it through the fourth inning, allowing 10 hits, 5 earned runs, walking the batters, and only managing a single strikeout. That's a far cry from what you'd expect from someone who's supposed to be a major league starter, especially on a team with the pressure and expectations that the Yankees carry every single day. Now, to be fair, Strowman is coming off an injury. He's been dealing with left knee inflammation that sidelined him earlier this year. He last pitched for the Yankees back in April, and the numbers from those appearances were concerning, an ERA north of 11, and no wins to show for it. But the thing is, if you're out there making bold statements like "I want to be a starter, not a bullpen guy," you've got to back it up when you step on the mound. Right now, Strowman's not showing the stuff, the command, or even the stamina to prove he deserves that spot. The Yankees are at a crossroads here. The rotation outside of Strowman is pretty solid. Max Fried has been dominant. He's been the ace this team needed, delivering clutch performances and keeping the Yankees competitive every time he takes the hill. Carlos Rodon has been a reliable number 2, mixing his stuff well and holding his own against tough lineups. Will Warren, while still developing, has that strikeout potential that can really change the dynamic of a game. And then there's Clark Schmidt, who's quietly been one of the most dependable arms, almost throwing a no-hitter recently. So with 4 guys holding it down pretty well, the pressure is on whoever is going to fill that 5th spot, especially with some big series coming up. And here's where it gets tricky. The Yankees have some crucial matchups looming. The Athletics, who on paper might not seem like a huge challenge, but then there's the Mets. The Mets-Yankees rivalry is as fierce as it's ever been, and those games feel like a playoff preview every single time they happen now. You can't afford to throw a pitcher out there just because he's on the payroll or has a certain personality. Performance and readiness have to come first. Strowman right now doesn't look ready, and that's a problem for Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman, because they're going to have to make a tough call. From what we've seen, it seems like Strowman might need more seasoning down in the minors before he's truly ready to contribute. Maybe a stint in Triple-A to build up his arm strength, get more innings under his belt, and regain confidence could help. But keeping him stuck in the rotation without producing results only puts the Yankees in jeopardy, especially when every game counts so much. And there's another layer to this. Strowman's attitude has been a distraction in the clubhouse, starting the season by insisting he's a starter and not willing to pitch out of the bullpen can create friction. That kind of mindset doesn't always sit well with teammates, especially when your performance isn't matching the talk. Fans in the Bronx have been pretty vocal, too, when a player comes across like he doesn't want to be there or isn't fully committed. The fans pick up on that, and their reaction can turn sour fast. The last thing the Yankees need is division within the team, or a player who doesn't fully embrace the grind and culture that come with wearing the pinstripes. The pressure in New York is intense. The fans expect effort, results, and dedication. When someone's falling short on all 3 fronts, that's when frustration boils over. Looking at the numbers from his recent starts, you can't ignore the red flags. 1 game, throwing only 65 pitches and barely scraping past the 3rd inning, handing over 10 hits to hitters who aren't even close to major league ready. That's not the kind of performance that inspires confidence. His velocity has been hovering in the high 80s, far from the mid-90s heat he used to bring. Command has been inconsistent, and the overall feel is that he's not quite the same pitcher we saw before the injury. People have compared his current struggles to Carlos Carrasco's rough rehab stints, where the return to form took time and patience. But patience is a tricky thing in the Bronx. With so much riding on every game, the Yankees can't just wait around hoping that someone finds their groove. There are too many important matchups on the horizon. And with Luis Healy now on the injured list, the rotation depth has been tested even more. The team is scrambling to find a reliable arm to fill that 5th starter role, and so far, Strowman's performances haven't helped that cause. If he can't step up soon, it's not just about his role on the mound. It's about the confidence the team can place in him when the pressure is on. Meanwhile, other pitchers in the system are stepping up. Luis Healy, who is recovering from His own injury has shown flashes of brilliance and has been encouraging in his recent outings. When Boone talks about Healy, the energy is different. It's hopeful, optimistic. The guy's hitting mid-90s on the radar gun and looks in control on the mound. That's the kind of presence the Yankees need to lean on while they figure out the back end of their rotation. It's clear that the team wants to see growth from their young arms. To build depth and confidence heading into the grind of the season, Strowman's situation highlights the challenges of roster management in a demanding market like New York. On one hand, you have a player signed to a multi-year deal who came in with high expectations and promises. On the other hand, you have the reality of performance and readiness, which sometimes don't line up with what was hoped for. Boone and Cashman have to navigate that carefully, because the stakes are sky high. Throwing Strowman out there just to save face or because of contract reasons could backfire badly, especially if he continues to struggle against tough lineups. What's also interesting is how personality and performance mix in this scenario. Strowman's bravado gave fans hope and excitement at first, but now that the results aren't matching the talk, that same personality feels like a liability. It's one thing to be confident, it's another to make bold claims and not deliver. In New York, the spotlight is unforgiving, and the fans remember quickly if a player's attitude doesn't come with the numbers to back it up. The backlash can be swift and brutal. Looking ahead, the Yankees need to figure out a clear plan. Do they keep trusting Strowman to turn it around? Do they push him to the bullpen, where he might find a better rhythm or less pressure? Or do they consider other options, giving the ball to younger pitchers who are showing promise? Whatever the choice, it's going to be a critical decision that could shape the team's success in the coming weeks. The series against the Athletics is a good testing ground. On paper, it's a matchup where the Yankees should be able to cruise, but every outing counts when you're trying to build momentum. Then, of course, there's the Mets series, which is arguably the most important rivalry in baseball right now. That's the kind of stage where you need your best arms, your most confident pitchers, and you cannot afford to take risks with players who are still finding their form. Another piece to consider is the mental side of things. Being sidelined with injury and coming back to underperform can be a huge blow to any athlete's confidence. Strowman's struggles aren't just physical, they're also psychological. The pressure to prove himself, the disappointment from fans and teammates, it all adds up. For him to bounce back, he's going to need not just physical rehab but mental resilience and maybe some time to recalibrate in the minors. At the end of the day, the Yankees are in a tough spot, but also one filled with potential. Their rotation, outside of Strowman, is solid and reliable. And if the team can get even a fraction of what they expected from him, that depth could be a huge advantage down the stretch. But until then, the spotlight remains firmly on Marcus Strowman and whether he can prove the doubters wrong, quiet the critics, and show up when the Bronx needs him the most. Moving beyond Marcus Strowman, the Yankees are definitely facing some serious challenges when it comes to their pitching staff. Injuries have been a real thorn in their side this season. Luis Healy, who had shown flashes of promise as a third starter, is now on the injured list. And that absence is being felt deeply. The team's depth is being tested, and that puts even more pressure on the remaining starters to perform consistently. When a rotation starts to feel fragile, every start becomes critical, and the margin for error shrinks dramatically. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. In what could be one of the most intriguing moves of the MLB offseason, whispers are swirling around the baseball world that the New York Yankees might be setting their sights on none other than Nolan Arenado, known for his elite defense and consistent offensive production at third base. Arenado would certainly bring a new dynamic to the Yankees infield, a position they have been looking to solidify. Rumors have been growing stronger that the Yankees are exploring trade possibilities to acquire Arenado, signaling their intent to bolster a lineup already brimming with talent. Arenado, a multiple-time Gold Glove winner and a proven power hitter, fits the mold of the kind of player the Yankees have historically pursued. Someone who can deliver both in the field and at the plate. His presence would not only shore up third base defensively, but also add a potent bat to the middle of the Yankees' order. Speculation has it that the Yankees front office is in serious talks, possibly negotiating with the Rockies, who have been rumored to consider moving Arenado amid a roster shakeup. The financial implications and the player pieces involved remain a mystery, but insiders suggest that the Yankees are prepared to offer a competitive package to make this happen. Such a deal would mark a bold statement, reflecting New York's determination to reclaim dominance in the American League East and push deeper into the postseason. While nothing is set in stone, the buzz around Arenado and the Yankees continues to build, with fans and analysts alike debating how this addition could change the team's chemistry and strategy. Would Arenado's power hitting complement the Yankees' existing stars perfectly? Could his defensive prowess be the missing ingredient in an already talented roster? The possibilities are tantalizing. As the offseason progresses, all eyes will remain on New York, watching for any official announcements or further developments. If this rumor turns into reality, the Yankees would undoubtedly reshape the landscape of the league, making the 2025 season one of the most exciting to watch. For now, baseball enthusiasts are left to speculate on whether the Bronx Bombers will indeed land Nolan Arenado and finally solve the third base puzzle once and for all. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give USA a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.